There are said to be a handful of Democratic senators considering a vote to acquit. We'll see. One of those mentioned frequently, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin. He joins us tonight. Senator, thanks for the time. We know you have to get some dinner, so I want to keep you too long. But what did you learn today, if anything? Has anything today in your Q&A, and you asked a question today, did it change your opinion on anything?
Well, no, it just gives us some clarity. There's some discrepancies that came back. If you heard basically the first 2 or 3 days of the prosecution from the House and the defense from the President. I think both of them were compelling, both of them were articulate, they'd done their job, they did their homework, and presented them well. But there were some contradictions going on, and we wanted to make sure, so I think the questions that are being asked is to get clarity to that. Tomorrow should help immensely, then we'll see where we go. And the witness is a big thing. You know, I really believe that, and I think you know that I feel witnesses are needed, and also documents that are pertaining to the charges brought against the president. Because at one time, I heard the president say, and I agreed with him, that he said, I don't think I can get a fair trial over on the House. I need a fair trial, I want witnesses, and I think he should get a fair trial, and the Senate is where the trial will be.
Now, you know, opening the door to witnesses obviously opens the door to Republicans and the Republican side calling witnesses. Today, you were asked whether Hunter Biden was relevant. You said yes. That got pushed back from Chuck Schumer and a whole bunch of your Democratic colleagues. You still feel that way?
Well, here's the thing I've said, Brett. I want to make sure I clarify this. The clarity is yes, the Republicans have a right to call witnesses. If the Democrats call 2 witnesses, shouldn't the Republicans have a right to call 2 or 4 and 4, whatever they agree on? Now, what they might not agree on, well, this person's not relevant because it really is not the person, whether it's the Bidens or somebody else. Well, you know what? My opinion was my opinion. But there should be somebody, and I would think the Chief Justice Roberts should be that person when there's a discrepancy. Should they be valid to be a witness because they have pertinent information that would be contributing to whether the president is convicted on the 2 articles of impeachment or acquitted? That's all I had said, and that's what I still feel would be fair.
If the vote comes down and Republicans manage to get the votes to prevent witnesses, could you consider a vote to acquit in that scenario?
The whole thing makes it difficult. It's just so hard to have a fair trial. I've never been a juror. I've never been called to jury duty in my entire life. So this is something new to me, but it's so fascinating. And I take this extremely serious. This is very, very serious charges. And it's the thing that there's no legislator should want to be setting for an impeachment of any president.
So yes, you could consider a vote to acquit?
I have everything open. I have not made my mind up. I am impartial. I want to wait until this whole process is over, and I will make a mind up then.
You know,
so I'm not committed
where you come from, West Virginia seems to be making its mind up. You know, back in 2016, voted for President Trump by about 70%. And the recent polls that we can find on this issue of impeaching and removing the president, it's about the same. Opposing removing the president, about 70% of West Virginians. Could you convict the president, vote to convict the president, and look at your constituents and say, I understand you have a vote in 9 months, but I've determined it's so egregious I need to kick him out of office now?
Brett, here's the thing. Basically, my responsibility I take serious, and I think the people that know me for a long time, I've been in West Virginia for a long time, been elected to many positions to represent the great state and the wonderful people of West Virginia, a governor for 2 terms, and then here for almost 10 years now. They expect me to do what's fair and what's right, and I have to be able to go home and explain it. I've said this, if I can't explain it, I sure can't vote for it. If it makes sense and I can explain it, then I can. That's why I've been waiting to see all of the evidence. I haven't been quick to judgment. Anybody who's prejudged the president one way or another, no person is above the law, and everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And that's the rule of law, and that's what I've been standing by, and I want to see
And
it's
not finished yet, and I understand you have a couple more days here, but Republicans say, 1, the aid was released, flowed out on time. 2,
well, not on time, but it got out.
Well, it got out within the deadline.
Right.
There was a meeting at the UN with the president of Ukraine. No announcement was made on investigations of the Bidens or Burisma ever, and the Ukrainians, including the Ukrainian president, said they didn't feel any pressure. Considering those things, understanding the presentations you've seen so far, if you get to Friday and there are no witnesses, considering those stipulations, can you vote to convict the president?
Let me give you one more scenario, Brett, is that basically we know that that Ukraine is fighting Russian aggression. And that's the main purpose for us in NATO and our allies. They're fighting Russian aggression. You have a new president, has no political experience whatsoever coming in. That person comes in, Zelensky, and basically he's talking to the superpower of the world, the most powerful person. And I'm sure that basically he's needing this very much, and I'm very appreciative of the president. 2017, 2018 has been very clear. Gave them lethal weapons, a javelin, to protect themselves. That was great. I was always for that. But then this assertion has been made. So we have to make sure that we uncover every stone, every cover. You cannot be involved. We cannot allow foreign entities to be involved. That's the purpose of who we are as a country.
No, I get it, and that's what Democrats are arguing. I'm just saying what has actually,
I've got to see
what
everything.
actually happened. You know, and can
Right.
you turn to West Virginians and say, I know all this stuff didn't happen, but because of how the Democrats presented it, we need to kick him out of office 9 months before the election.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that's been brought to my attention too, and you're saying no one should be kicked out of office unless the charges are absolutely factual. But with that being said, should we just say the same thing as what McConnell had said and Merrick Garland? Well, it's 1 year, so why should we do anything?
Let me ask you two more quick things.
Okay.
Do you have any concerns about the whistleblower and the contacts with the House Intelligence Committee? Adam Schiff said again today he doesn't know who the whistleblower is. Do you have?
If I have to believe, you know what? I try to trust the people that I work with. If they lie to me once, then shame on all of us, because I'll never believe them again. So if they're saying that they didn't know, I would believe that they're telling the truth. If they're willing to do it under oath, that even tells me more. So, you know, it is what it is right now. We're in a he said, she said, who's back and forth, what side are you on, what tribe? I'm a proud West Virginia Democrat, but I'm more a proud American. And I am not going to make a decision. I want my president to succeed and do well, but I want him to live within the law, and they're not above the law, so we all have to make sure that we're doing everything by the law. I
tried to get to an answer a couple of times. Senator, we appreciate your time, and why don't you get some dinner and head back in. Thank you very much.
You'll get an answer pretty quick here,
All right.
I can tell you that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.